A stereotype is a fixed, overgeneralized belief about a particular group or class of people. Evolutionary speaking, these can be advantageous for survival. For example, if a caveman is out in the wilderness looking for food and has a bad experience with a lion, the caveman may then make an overgeneralization that all large cats are dangerous. This stereotype would be favored because it promotes survival. However, in the world today, these can lead to negative social implications such as prejudice and discrimination. Prejudice is an unfavorable opinion or feeling formed beforehand or without knowledge, thought, or reason. In our society, this can be prevalent when you look at different aspects such as gender, race, sexual orientation, and even age. Discrimination is the treatment or consideration of, or making a distinction in favor of or against, a person or thing based on the group, class, or category to which that person or thing belongs to, rather than on individual merit. Stereotypes, prejudice, and discrimination are all related, but oftentimes are misconstrued or thought to be the same thing. Prejudice and discrimination are rooted in stereotypes. Discrimination is overt. It is the physical behavior that one acts on because of certain stereotypes. Prejudice is internal. It is the thought process that is formed from stereotypes that a person may have. Now that we have sorted out the confusion, let's talk about how stereotypes are formed. Stereotypes exist because of experiences that are stored within our memory. This is a cognitive process. Our memory is composed of our semantic network. This can be thought of as connections of things that are built off of experience. An example of this would be when the word Halloween is said. Many people tend to think of different things such as vampires, witches, pumpkins, and ghosts. These are all connected within the same semantic network that is formed from our prior experiences of Halloween. Stereotypes are stored within our semantic network and can either be explicit or implicit. When most people think of what a stereotype is, they are generally referring to an explicit one, which means that the stereotype is done within one's awareness. What most people don't realize is that stereotypes can also occur on an implicit level, without one's conscious awareness. This happens beneath the surface and can potentially result in prejudice or discrimination. A common example of this problem could be when a person applies for a job. The employer may unconsciously discriminate against the applicant based off of their gender, race, sexual orientation, or age. This is implicit because the employer doesn't realize that he or she has made a decision based off of his or her own stereotype. These implicit biases can be generalized to many different situations within the real world. We can measure these implicit biases with a variety of different psychological tests. One of the most common ways this is done is by conducting a lexical decision test. This measures how close two concepts are related using real and nonsense words pairs. It does this by measuring reaction time. We respond quicker to concepts that are related and presented together, aka stereotypes, as opposed to concepts that are unrelated. Because these things can happen outside of our awareness, it is important to understand how stereotypes work and how they can be prevented. It can be beneficial to shape our experiences in a way that can help avoid the negative implications of stereotypes. This concept is concerning when you think about stereotypes that are formed from different media outlets, such as violence. When people subject themselves to a large amount of violent material, they are more likely to act out violently in situations. We should strive to shape our experiences in ways that help reduce the negative associations that can lead to negative stereotypes, and even sometimes prejudice and discrimination. Although the media can be a significant source of negative stereotypes, remember that experiences come from many different areas within our lives. Recognizing how stereotypes work can be one of the best ways to avoid making negative associations that can lead to potential discrimination.
created using Powtoon.